today's video, we're going to be putting a chicken roost up in our chicken coop. And I want to talk to you about what you want to use to make a roost for your chickens, the best chicken roost you could possibly build. I want to show you how to do that, and I want to actually get it done. So we're going to pack up all our gear and we're going to head outside.
You're so yelly.
If you're building your own chicken coop, or maybe you're converting a building on your property to be used as a chicken coop, if you're gonna have egg-laying chickens, you need to have a roost. What do you use for a roost? Well, you don't wanna just find anything lying around and put it up. There is an ideal roost for your chickens. In the description below, I have 4 great articles sourced. But in general, there's a few guidelines for your chicken roosts. You can check out those articles below. They're scientific studies. They all quote their sources. It's really good hard science. And here at Homesteady, we like to share with you scientific sources and not just what our favorite blogger thinks. Let's head outside and I'm gonna show you how to hang your own roost in a building that we already have here on the property. We're out in the chicken yard today. We're gonna be doing some work on this yellow coop. We're gonna be putting a roost up in it. So let's head on into the coop. This is our bigger chicken coop. It's the one that we're gonna be moving all our egg layers into because in just a week we're gonna be getting our meat birds and we need to brood them in our other coop. Because this is the bigger one, we can fit all of our egg layers in here. But right now we can't fit them all in here because we only have one roost. Chickens are descendants of what are called red jungle fowl. These chicken-like birds of the jungle would wander around the jungle. They would have nests, they would lay eggs, but at nighttime when they sleep, they would fly up and roost for protection. You and me are not the only things that like to eat chicken. Pretty much any animal out there that eats meat would love to bite on one of these jungle fowl. And so at nighttime they would fly up into the trees and into the bushes and they would roost so they wouldn't be easy pickings for some carnivore walking around the forest floor. Chickens today still desire to roost, and so if you're building your own chicken coop, or if you're turning an old building on the property like this one into a coop, you want to put a roost up for your girls, and you want to make sure there's enough roost space for all your chickens. That means you want to have 8 to 12 inches per bird, depending on breed. This is the roost that we already have up in this coop. I need to match the same height of this roost as the roost on the other side because, as you know, chickens have an established pecking order, and whoever is the most important chicken, she wants to be up the highest. Well, the problem is all the chickens want to be the most important chicken, so they'll all be fighting for the highest roost. So if you put different tiered roosts in your coop, you're going to have overcrowding on the higher roost and empty space on the lower roost, and that's not good for your birds. So we're going to measure the height of this roost here. I can see it's about 27 inches to the top of this roost to the floor of our coop. Now we're going to match that on the other side. I've got these really strong shelf brackets for this roost. Think about those chickens. Those chickens average 3 to 5 pounds in weight. So if I have a roost here that has, 10 chickens on it, that's 30 pounds. So you want to make sure that your roosts are supported by a good strong shelving bracket. And I'll put links below to the exact model that we're using here. The preferred material for chickens, I got a noisy chicken yelling at me over here. So what should you use for roost materials? Well, according to those studies that we'll link to below, they found that generally speaking, an oval or a square was the best shape for the chicken's feet. You don't want it to be too narrow where the chicken has to grip really hard around the thing, so you wouldn't want to use a circular shaped dowel. Instead, you're better off with like a square, and wider was better, but you don't want it so wide that the chicken's foot is totally flat on the perch. So a 2x4 on its side, 4 inches, would be too much space. Your chicken's foot is flat and that's not healthy for their feet. Instead, you want them to be able to just curve their little chickeny fingers around the sides of that perch. And so what we like to use, this is a piece of 1x2, but its dimensions are not exactly 1 inch by 2 inches. It's actually 2.5 inches on the one side and about an inch and 5/8 on the other side. It's hard to find the perfect size lumber at like Home Depot, but if you get a piece of 1x2, we've used this in the past, and we're gonna put it up this way so that they have enough room to roost on it, solid, flat, but they can get their chicken fingers around the sides. I guess they're called talons. If I'm going to quote a scientific journal, I should use the right terms, right? They're not called talons either. What do you call chicken fingers? Chicken fingers. Chicken tenders. Before I get my height for my brackets, I need to see how much height this roost is going to add to the mix so I have it just right. So 2.5 inches. If we're trying to match the 27 inches over there, that means I have to mount these brackets at 24.5 inches. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay. Maybe you think these big heavy duty brackets are going overboard. They're a little overkill, and they are. But the reason why is because these flimsy cheap ones, they tend to curve and even break. We've tried these in the past and they're just not right. Especially with a bunch of big heavy birds jumping up and flying down every night. So instead of getting, flimsy cheap crap that I got to replace in a couple years, I like to go above and beyond, get good sturdy stuff. Make sure it's good and sturdy and right for our girls, and this will last forever. So links below for these brackets. These are going to do perfect for this kind of thing. Want to check my bracket for plumb now. Make sure I'm putting it on not only level this way but also this way. So we're going to just check it. All right, right there's perfect plumb. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 4-foot level across this guy and make sure that when I hang the other brackets, we're hanging it nice and level because we don't want our birds to be leaning all night because we put the roost up wrong. And that's perfect right there. We're going to get that in just right there. Here's a little trick. It's hard to find a heavy duty bracket with a hole that'll match your screws. So just get yourself one of those nice big fat washers that the screw can fit through and hold nicely. And then when you're snug this up, that washer holds it right in place. We'll put links below for everything you need here. Sorry. All right. I didn't mean to disturb. Mama hen did not like that impact driver. Okay, my apologies. Yeah. She's yelling at me. The brackets are all mounted nice and secure. Now we're going to put this roost up. So now to mount these, we're going to use the same setup. We're going to go just like this. Bam, nice and solid. That's great, and that's just one. We're going to put 2 more in. That's it. We just hung a roost. You can see this nice 1x2. It's already got rounded edges. You can buy it like that. If you don't have a piece that's already rounded, you could just use a palm sander and kind of sand off the edges. But that thing's super sturdy, and we'll watch right now. This bird's about to fly up on it right now. Let's see it happen and see him go to roost. That bluebird?
Yeah.
Go on, bluebird. Okay, we're all done putting our roost up. You can see chickens are already using the roosts. You'll notice the height that we put these up. It's 27 inches. If you have larger breed chickens, some of those studies below mentioned that you wouldn't want to put your roost higher than 24 inches. So like New Hampshires, they're a very large breed. And flying down from the roost they could actually hurt themselves from such a high height. We don't have any large breed chickens, so we weren't too worried about that. We just wanted to match the height of our other roost over here, but something to consider if you do have larger breed chickens. So just a minor note, when you're doing this, we quoted the articles below. They're good scientific articles based off of good scientific data. The idea is to share with you the most accurate data we can. But remember, we're homesteaders, and we're gonna use what we have. We don't necessarily wanna run out to the store and buy a bunch of stuff if we have good lumber. So today, although our roost wasn't a full 2 inches, it was close. It was 1 inch and 5/8. It was a free piece of wood we already had, so we used that. If you don't have the perfect size roost, or the perfect material, it's okay. These chickens, they've descended from the jungle animals. They're not gonna need the most perfect, absolute perfection. So use what you can. Ultimately, you wanna know what perfection is, and then get as close as you can reasonably on the homestead. At least that's the way we feel here at our homestead.
Do the new one. Well, someone's in the way of both of them.
All right, well, you go ahead and do that one.
Come on. Look. Looks like somebody's using the new one.
Let's hope. Yeah. Hot and fresh out the kitchen. They're using it. That's awesome. If you want to see how to make those nest boxes, I just made another one in like 5 minutes because I could tell there was a bottleneck here. Click on that video if you want to see how to make those. It's time to clean this coop. Chicken tenders.
Oh wait, that's a wrap.
Cut. Good work, team. Come here, production crew. Be sure to sign up to our email list. I mean, after all that work, right? We had the whole crew on this one. Why wouldn't you sign up to the email list? Make sure you do, because on Friday, we're releasing a video with the biggest news that you've ever heard from our channel. And if you're on that email list, the minute that video goes live, we will send you an email saying, hey, the big news, here it is. And you can make sure to catch that. So click right there, you'll sign up to the email list, and on Friday, you'll hear our big news.
Whoa!
You guys want to tell them what the big news is right now? Tell them, ready?
No.
The big news is that